Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina,
And I'm Kevin.
and it's 2025. It's a new year. I've got new glasses. I've got a new Ferrari jacket. Or are you wearing Christmas gifts?
I am not. I had a Max Verstappen shirt on, but then I've been lazy because I just got back from Ottawa. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
wearing all the new.
yeah.
We look different,
I've
kind
got
of.
my drink ready. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm prepared for the season.
We already need drinks for this season and haven't even
Uh,
begun yet.
this is
Um,
more of the
yeah,
same stupid shit.
yeah. So this is our obviously first episode back. It is not race season yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. What just happened to me?
I don't know. You're fuzzy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yours is still recording on
No.
your.
Well, I don't know. Should we start over? Because I'm
It's
not.
still recording. I mean, the time's still going up. It's coming back.
It's not coming back for me.
I mean, I've told you, you've got to stay off those forbidden sites while you're doing the podcast.
What am I? What is going on?
Where were you? I forget
Okay,
where we are, but we are
so
technical difficulties. We are back with, we started just like we started last year. Technical
yeah, technical
difficulties.
difficulties is just we should just change our name. So again, it is the new year. We're a couple weeks. No, we still have more than a couple weeks. We still have a month. Probably
We're
have
a
6
couple
weeks.
weeks from a reveals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're a
I
couple
think
weeks
we're
from our,
probably 6 weeks or so from season starting. March
I think we're
16th.
even, yes, March 16th, testing
Yeah.
end of February-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we are just here to kind of talk about some off-season newsworthy items, updates that have happened since our last recording and kind of over the off-season, the holidays, and kind of go through that. And then we've got a couple more episodes, obviously, before season starts and launches, but we are back.
We're back, bitches.
Fans.
Don't tell me you weren't thinking of saying it.
I was. We are back, bitches. Anyways,
Thank you.
So what is our first topic?
Well, you
We
wrote
were
this.
ready.
You wrote
I know.
this. So the first
were
thing we
ready.
want to talk about is Will Buxton will no longer, now,
Yeah.
if you've seen him on F1 or any F1 related content, he is a commentator for F1 TV and the F1 brand. Although he is no longer a commentator for F1 TV or the F1 brand.
No.
He's taken up a job with Fox and Indy, the IndyCar series.
Yeah, so I guess we're not going to hear any more obvious. I mean, I guess we will for Drive to Survive, the new season that's coming out. But
well, yeah, I think that's all pretty much filmed,
yeah.
but he won't be coming back unless he won't be coming back. I mean, he's not part of F1 TV, so why would they have him?
No, I can maybe see if there's a weekend overlap.
Maybe. I doubt it.
I don't think there is, but
unless he gets like a special invitation from Zach Brown, who advised him on his new role. But so he got I guess he got the offer from Fox and from Indy, and he got gone to Zach Brown. I guess kind of just hemming and hawing. Just, should I take it? How's their direction? Their projected trajectory of the sport in general. And Zach told him, just effing do it. Were his exact words, just 3 words. And so he took it.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's a good chunk of money. I think I did read that he has some history with Indy as well. So I think it's kind of where he would like to be.
And I think he will do. I think his personality. His personality himself will be able to shine a little bit more in that sort of American market, that kind of broadcast style.
Yeah. Where I feel like he was. I mean, not that he wasn't respected by any means, but
of course,
once the Drive to Survive stuff kind of came out, and it was like if you were leading the race, you were winning the race. The driver in the front.
Yeah.
So we're not going to hear any of that stuff anymore. But uh, yeah, I when I saw it, I was kind of like, oh. But then again, he's a good analyst, but he's not going too far away if you watch Indy.
I
So
mean, he was you and I primarily watch the Sky
yeah,
Sports broadcast, but he was the best
yeah,
part of the F1 TV broadcast.
yeah, yeah.
Especially when he
Was
got to the before or after with driver interviews, and he kind of just came out and flat out just asked them questions and got them into not necessarily uncomfortable positions, but like, you know, really required honest answers of them.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he was also passionate about stuff that was controversial on track. He would
Yeah.
give his honest opinion,
Yeah.
and sometimes it would, I think it off screen probably got his hand slapped a little bit, but I mean, he was truthful with what everybody else is thinking, and he's, wasn't afraid to say what he
Yeah.
thought was going on.
And that's exactly where I think that he'll fit in really well with that sort of American broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um from I guess sad-ish news to interesting news, Jack Doohan. We obviously know he signed with Alpine, but what came out over the break is that his contract is only for 5 or 6 races, and I say 5 or 6 because I've seen stuff
There's
that
seen
has said 5,
reports.
and
Yeah.
I've seen reports that have said 6 races. So,
Which I
which
mean,
is
like we don't. You saw Liam when he goes to Red Bull and he's happy. He's putting out posts and everything. You didn't really see much of
yeah,
that from Jack. Like you didn't really. It
no,
was much more reserved, kind of. And I'm sure
yeah,
he's ecstatic. He's going to take this opportunity. He's going to do his
yeah,
best with it. But I mean, it's got to be in the back of his mind that he's only got a contract for 5 or 6 races, and the
yeah,
reason being, and it was linked to rumors. He was linked to rumors with Alpine was Franco
yeah,
Colapinto. I mean, he had
yeah,
already had his showing. And
yeah,
it seems to be, well, not seems to be, Franco Colapinto signed as a reserve driver for Alpine. So
yeah.
you know that the guy, it goes back to exactly what RB did last year with Daniel Ricciardo, where every time there was a mistake, they just show
They would just pan to
Lawson.
Lawson.
They would just show Lawson.
Yeah,
What's his reaction? Is he smiling? Is he not?
yeah,
Like, it's going to be the same
yeah,
thing now with Alpine. If
yeah,
he doesn't make it out of Q1, they're going to show Colapinto. If he crashes for whatever reason, they're going to show
yeah,
Colapinto, and it's going to be in the back
yeah,
of his mind. How do you confidently race when you know your
yeah.
team has your replacement ready to go?
And a guy that was in 9, I think, races. Like Franco was in 9 races, maybe more. The previous year had really good showings up until the last couple of races. Loved by everybody
Yeah,
in his short time in F1, and he is just sitting there in the wings waiting for every mistake. It's
have
this added bit of stress and pressure that nobody needs.
Have you ever seen these videos where people go bungee jumping somewhere, wherever the hell it is, but they're tied up by another cord? And you have somebody, it's all over like Instagram, TikTok, and all this stuff, where they have somebody with a knife just slowly cutting one cord at a time until the weight just drops. They're obviously
Absolutely
attached to
not.
another one, but it's just like, and
No.
they will slowly cut every single strand of that rope just to stress them out.
And you can see them doing this?
They can see it. Yeah, they can see it, and you can see it.
Oh, I'd be passed out. I'd
Yeah,
be
and that's what I feel like what Doohan is thinking right now is just that
Yeah.
every little mistake is just another little strand cut off of
Yeah.
that rope until he gets dropped
Right.
with no bungee cord attached.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is that fair? Like 5 or 6 races brings us to where does that bring us to?
Is
China?
Australia, Miami, does it not? Roughly?
I don't
You
know.
know what? I have the schedule ish here. We will go to 5, 6 races. We got Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. 6 is Miami. 5 is Saudi Arabia. So I mean, if he makes it
Okay.
the 6, best case scenario, if he's not doing well, is Emilia Romagna. So that is, which one is that? Which Italian one is that? Emilia Romagna is and it's escaping
Imola.
my mind. Imola. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Imola.
yes, I knew it was an I. I just could for some reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it. So
It's the yeah,
we're looking at
the
potentially
very long one.
Miami or Imola. Um, yeah, it's and I mean
I don't know. That's early.
every professional athlete knows that there's somebody ready to replace them if they're not performing.
Yeah.
Unless you are one of those generational stars where they're going to give you the longest rope that's
Yeah.
ever been thread. But I mean, to sign somebody, you sign somebody, and then you realize that somebody else isn't signing someone else. So you're like, oh, I'm going to pick them up because that's the person I actually do want.
Yeah.
It's not your consolation prize. That's who you really want. Now it feels
Yeah.
like Alpine is just wants Duhan to fuck up.
Well, and like it's one thing when you saw it with Daniel Ricciardo and Liam Lawson. Daniel was coming off of a year not racing. He was at the end of his career. We weren't really sure his drivability. He didn't really want to be in the B team, let's call it as
Yeah.
what it is. And so you're kind of like, okay, this is probably not going to be the best fit, but this is the guy's first chance. Like, I mean, even Nick DeVries made it to Monaco, I think. Like, it's just it really, and just to know that going in really sucks. I mean, great for Franco because everybody was excited for Franco to get a seat. I mean, nobody really wanted him to leave F1 after his showing and how beloved he became.
Well, yeah, nobody except for Duhan.
But yeah. And so now there's just this weird, and I mean, they're on the same team. They're walking into races together. They're going to be doing
and they know each other.
Together.
I mean, they did F2 together.
Yeah.
They're friends,
so,
but it's like,
yeah.
But Colapinto's trying to stab him in the back. Like he's trying to cut his legs, his Achilles, so he can just get in there. Hoping he gets a appendicitis.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's gonna be an interesting little bit, and I mean, I like Franco, but I mean, I hope Jack has a good few races at least to show something. And but it kind of makes you think. Okay, so he's got these 5 or 6 races. He does really well.
That's the contract. He could still get extended.
Yeah, he could still get extended. You know, maybe they say after the break we're gonna use this person or what have you. But I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. But just
so if you're Duhan, you've had I'm not going to say a great showing. I'm not going to say a modest showing in a car that at the end of the year was semi-competitive, right? In the midfield. Well, it was competitive in the midfield, basically. Mm-hmm. If you're around that Haas area. If they just decide to take a gamble and take Colapinto and you're Duhan, do you stick around as their reserve driver? That's not the contract. Unless it says in the contract that you will likely move down, it's no problem. Do you take that reserve driver role?
I think maybe because going in, he knows what the contract. We don't know if the contract says you become a reserve driver, but I think if you go in knowing that it's 5 or 6 races, and then they're like, "We got to let you go, but we'll keep you." I mean, how many people worldwide want to be in F1? That's the closest thing you can.
Yes, be. I mean, if I'm his agent, and I got a first of all, who the fuck agent signed you for 5 or 6 races? That guy should be fired. But as his replacement agent, I am calling every single team and saying, listen, after these 5 or 6 races, if I get let go, here's your reserve driver. I'm having a contract waiting anywhere else. I don't care where it is. I'm not sticking in Alpine. Because that is the ultimate sign. Like that is Chris or Will Smith on Chris Rock at the Oscars. Just Chris Rock's up there, Duhan's up there, and Alpine just slaps him in the face.
Yeah, and I mean, you then have to know when Colapinto messes up that the camera's going to go to you. Like the camera's just always going to be on you.
But he won't be there because
so it is kind of.
He's up to
It's kind of awkward.
what's his name? And he's like, listen, look, you fucked up. This
Yeah.
here. That's
Gotta
one.
go.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's one. Yeah.
That's just one. But yeah, it's I don't know.
It's messy.
I don't know. It makes it
it's
very messy.
I mean, you deliberately took away something you found to be a mess, creating messy situations.
Yeah.
And now you're creating your own messy. It's McLaren situation that at the beginning of last year. Right?
Yeah.
The team was creating this mess. And I think they're in, and it might end up affecting Gasly.
Yeah, well, changing around teammates like that. And I mean, you kind of have to go back to Alpine having a controversial hire, Briatore, last year. Is this his doing of being like, you know what, we're not waiting around? And do you have to like you
100%, because he flatly came out and said that they 100% mishandled the whole
Ocon Gasly.
No, Piastri situation.
Right.
With Piastri leaving and how you let somebody like that go. Now he's gone and created another controversy by signing 2 people and giving nobody confidence.
Yeah, and I mean the news about both of them came out pretty quickly. Like it was kind of like
Duhan, great new actor. Yeah.
By the way, it's only for 5
Don't get too excited.
And we signed Franco Colapinto. So, but yeah,
that's a win, but we fucked up both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty messy, and I mean, this kind of goes to, I mean, Ocon. We don't know what the beef between Ocon and Gasly was for years, but I mean, it goes back to karting. But I mean, again, you're almost setting up internal team turmoil.
It went from karting to Monaco last year, where Ocon ran over his own teammate. But which, I mean, you know what? We asked if we missed anything on this news, and we're talking about Ocon and Alpine. We didn't even think to mention one of the reasons. They said it wasn't one of the reasons. It was definitely, in my opinion, one of the reasons why Ocon was not re-signed. Or they were happy to let him go.
Yeah.
So for anybody who doesn't know, mid-season, this was when they're actually they're racing in Silverstone.
Yeah.
This is why you had the company car. Ocon takes the press car to Williams facility, wherever city it is, close to Silverstone or in Silverstone, whatever it is, for a 5-hour seat fitting. So it's not like you could have said, I was going there to see a friend. You stayed there for 5 hours. And they knew that because these press cars, any company car or whatever, is GPS. They track everything. Mm-hmm. And it's GPS for insurance purposes. It's a fleet vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, if you get in an accident, were you doing something wrong, or did somebody else do something? Were you taking it where you're not supposed to take it, obviously. And they saw that he was parked in the Williams parking lot for 5 hours. First of all, can Williams come pick you up? Can you take your own goddamn car? Like, what? If you are looking to leave your team potentially, why are you taking a company vehicle to a rival company?
Like, that's
how. And I felt, you know what? I gave a lot of kudos to Ocon at the end of the year. What a fucking moron. We were right this whole time.
The whole time. I mean, it was like, it's kind of comical, but like, hey, I mean, I think at this point too, we probably kind of knew Ocon was checked out. I think Ocon's been checked out for a couple of years. But I mean, I think we probably knew he was a little bit checked out at this point. But listen, still, I think don't take the company car.
I think it was at a point where, you know, maybe contract negotiations weren't going well, and he had a really good idea. He wasn't coming back. It wasn't done. Don't put your own nail in the coffin. No. Because you never know. There are 20 seats in F1.
Yeah.
But and I mean, don't have a lot of shots.
Well, and now that this information has come out, it's like Haas is probably looking at him like,
Yeah.
let's be careful with this one.
We're gonna GPS your jackets. We're gonna GPS everything.
Everything. Yeah. You cannot wear
You're not taking a
anything from the
step.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
God, he's not
Oh
going anywhere.
man, it
But
was just such a bonehead move.
yeah, honestly.
Oh
Um, let's do one more rumor first.
yeah, okay.
It's the $1 billion
The
rumor.
$1 billion rumor. Yeah, the
The billion
$1 billion.
dollar rumor. Um, is reports coming out that
Like
Lawrence
out of
Stroll, I was about to say Lance.
thin air, out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
And just unnecessary rumor. But I mean, hey,
It was like a slow news day, and
Lawrence,
like let's just stay in the
just throw
news.
this out. Let's just
Yeah,
throw this out. Lawrence Stroll and Aston Martin reached out to Max Verstappen with a contract deal potential for I don't even know if we know when it was or if it was supposed
I
to be
believe it.
25 or
I don't
26.
know if it was his. No, actually, I think I don't because he has a contract till 28. So I don't know if it was
Right.
after his contract in 28 or starting in 2026 with the new regulations. That
Yeah.
those details didn't come out, but it
Yeah.
could be either one really.
And it is $1 billion deal. It is, what did you say, 4 years?
I think I don't know if it was four. I think it might have been five. So I think it was five because he's roughly around that 50 million euro a year contract. So I think it was, I had said before, it was like a 400% raise. I'd bring him about 200 million a year. So over five. Either way, 250 a year.
I'll take the 50. I'll take the $50 million that he's making. But I mean,
And
a
listen, I
billion
mean,
dollars.
I you're I mean I like Max. I love
I,
Max. I love the way he drives. I love watching him. I love watching his
yeah.
interviews. I
Yeah.
am 100% a Max fan. But
Yeah.
you're offering him Ronaldo and Messi money? I mean, Ronaldo and Messi, you can offer that money because they will make that money back in spades in merchandise. Max isn't doing that.
Correct. No.
Max is not going
And
to
he
do that.
doesn't care to do
Max
it.
isn't Max isn't packing. I mean, yeah, okay, over a weekend they may have 100,000 fans come through.
Right.
But Messi and Ronaldo will pack 100,000 seat stadiums night in and night out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where at this point you're just losing money. I don't
Oh
even
no,
know
they're hemorrhaging money. Like this
how.
is just yeah.
They
I
just
mean,
built this massive facility. Now they're going to give $1 billion. They're going to give it to one driver, the same amount that it costs you to build these fucking facilities.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. If it's true.
And they're paying for Nui. Like
Yeah,
where
another
is this
$250 million.
where is this money coming from?
It's almost like the Nui news didn't make. I love saying that.
Yeah.
Where is it making enough headlines now that he's officially working for Aston Martin? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
throw this out there.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't know what Max said to this. We don't know if
So this
there was
was
a response or if it was truly just rumors
this
or
was an
what
alleged
have you.
rumor. This is, but I also read this week that it was leaked by Aston Martin. We don't know if it was leaked as a rumor or something truth, but there also hasn't been
Yeah,
any comment back from Max or his team,
no,
which leads me to
no.
believe that there is. I don't know if the term or the money's correct, but there has been an offer made.
Yeah, I mean, a $1 billion contract. I mean, that would, and I kind of
You'd be
pose this to
stupid to
you.
say no.
Yeah, and I know. Okay, times are different in terms of economics. But does this prove that Max is the best driver of all time? Does it do you think there was any point that Lewis should have gotten $1 billion deal? Schumacher,
No, economics
obviously
have been
times
different.
makes
I mean, you look at
it makes it's hard to
economically.
compare
No,
times.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I don't think. Yeah, I think Max has proven that he over the last at the very most 2 to 3 years has been the best driver. Max has always
Yeah.
been the same driver. He's just been the best driver. Now he's in the best car. It's obviously helped
Yeah.
him. I don't think any driver, Lewis or anybody else, is worth the $1 billion. I'm sorry. I love the sport.
Yeah.
The money generates quite a bit, but it mostly generated toward the team.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those drivers are worth $1 billion over the 4 or 5. You want to spend $1 billion over 10 years? Sure, I can see that.
Right.
$100 million
You're
a
investing
year?
in somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But over that short of a period of 200 or 250 million, not a chance. Not a chance.
And I mean, and you're also offering that to him. Like you said, it could be 2026 when he is going to be, I think at that point, he'll be 29 or 30. So it's like he may not even be there for 4 years.
Yeah, you're assuming for a guy who
be...
said that he wants to like retire early.
Yeah.
So I now think like, where is this money actually coming from?
Right.
Right. And you know, I bring it back to like Ronaldo. Ronaldo went to play in Saudi Arabia. Sure, they got a shit ton of money. They
all
got
kinds of money.
$250 million in the piggy bank. But
yeah,
you know, with Aston Martin and like Aramco, an oil company, is there Middle East Saudi backed money where they're saying, hey, get this guy, we want this guy, or Honda, you know, and they're throwing money at it. Right. And so it's not so much Lawrence Stroll saying, hey, because I don't see Lawrence Stroll footing the bill 100%. 100% of the bill. I don't see it. He's a shrewd businessman.
There's
I don't
silent
think
partners happening.
There has to be. There has to be money coming in from somewhere else. Investors saying, we want him in here, get him in here and in our product and wearing our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You sign the check, we'll give you the money. We'll reimburse you. We'll reimburse you for it. You pay for it. We'll reimburse you.
And they're telling, listen, we're allowing you to keep your fucking son in these cars. Get us somebody who's going to make us some money.
Right. Exactly.
Because the only person I know buying Lance Stroll stuff is Brian. Inside joke. Sorry.
Kevin's cousin.
I actually haven't seen him in a Lance Stroll thing. It's fun.
Oh, well. Maybe you should get him something for Christmas.
Generic Aston Martin, yes. No, he's got an Aston Martin sweater. It just doesn't say Lance Stroll on it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, who knows if it's true, what have you. And it kind of died really quickly. It was kind of like, here's this rumor. It was there for a couple of days, news cycle. And then it was like, okay, we're done with that.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason that we were done with that so quickly was shortly, a few days after that is when we got the first glimpse of Lewis Hamilton in Italy at the home, really,
in Maranello,
Maranello. And he showed up fashionable as ever, with all the fans, and Kevin is rolling his eyes already.
It's not even about Lewis. Okay, yeah, the post of him at Ferrari was whatever, and all the posts that, and it's not his fault, but all the posts that said it was this iconic photo. I don't believe it's iconic. Yeah. Give me an 8th title, then maybe it's iconic. But I'm so tired of seeing all the cryptic posts from Ferrari. There was the one in the garage where a light stand and some other weird shit made 1644, and everybody's saying that, you know, if Lewis Hamilton gets his win or something, I don't know, one of them, it's the 44th win.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
16 together on the podium. It's like meant to be in the stars. And then apparently this post of him in front of Maranello, there are 7 closed windows, but the door is open. Or no, 7 open windows, which denotes his 7 titles. And the door's closed, which is the one that's for his title. Like, fuck off. Stop with these cryptic things. Like, it's enough. Enough already. Nobody gives a shit. Win the fucking thing.
The only one that I liked was the 2 dog bowls. They had like Charles dog bowl.
Even worse. Even worse. I was asked this weekend, and yes, by Brian, when in the inevitable photo shoot between Roscoe and whatever the hell Charles' dog is named, whatever. Who gives a shit about their dogs? I don't care about their fucking dogs.
I do. I
Who
think
is not concerned about the health risks to these dogs, taking them all these different climates and different altitudes? Come on, PETA,
I
get on my
mean,
side, you fucks. Anyways, I'm so
that's
sick of it. I'm so
Kevin's
let him
riled
just
up.
drive. Let him just drive. No, but I
Yeah.
want him to just drive. I'm so tired of the
Yeah.
fucking posts.
You know what it is? It's also been, I mean, we're coming up this week to 1 year of the announcement, right? So usually
Yes.
you hear an announcement at the end of the year, so it's like, okay, cool, build up. But we've literally had this Lewis to Ferrari for so long, and it took
Every
him
race they
so
talked
long to
about
be.
every
Yeah,
race they talk about like he's watching the Ferraris. Well, of course. He's
yeah,
watching them every fucking weekend.
yeah,
But
and yeah, because they're ahead of him.
yeah.
Um, but it took him so long, even after the end of the season, to show up at Ferrari. And I mean, everybody else we kind of saw Carlos at Williams, we saw Ocon at Haas. It's it was just kind of waiting on him, and now it's just been prolonged as well. Of just like, here's this picture from this angle, from here.
And I get it. It generates
Yeah,
Ferrari money. I understand.
yeah,
Anything Lewis touches
absolutely.
generates him money.
Yeah,
I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Or the
yeah.
cryptic post of, is this the color they're going with? Because they said they're going with a deeper red. Does this, or Angela going down the ski hill and she stops at whatever sign 44? Like, okay, we get
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
I did kind of laugh, rolled my eyes, all of it this weekend when Lewis's other post overshadowed anything Ferrari could have done.
What was his other post?
Don't even start because you messaged my wife about this post.
Oh, okay, but that's an old picture.
Oh, is
That
it?
is an
I didn't know.
old
I didn't
picture.
know.
Yeah. Oh.
I
Oh.
just the amount
Anyways,
of
if
horn
anybody
dogging I
hasn't
heard about this this weekend.
if nobody
Ridiculous.
has seen the picture, Lewis is standing in latex pants and it's just looking at you. And if you want the picture, message us. I'll send it to you.
For anybody who calls a man a horn dog, you should have heard every single comment I heard about Lewis's winky wink in this post.
Yeah.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
it was just on display. I mean, what man wears latex pants? It's just, you're asking for it to be seen.
Well, yes, that's why you do it. You ask for it to be seen. I'm sure that there was probably a PA on that photo shoot who said,
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, we got to tuck that back. And he's like, F no. This is going to get me laid for the next 3 years.
Yeah, we're leaving it right there.
No man in the right man would be like, no, we got to hide this thing. No.
Yeah. We're full display.
You should have hit his nipples, Vogue. Really. It just.
Yeah. It was, anyways, message. I'll find the picture for you. I'll send it to you.
Please,
if you
got
it
saved. It's your screensaver.
Well, now I'm hot. What were we talking about? Talking about Lewis.
Take off that Ferrari jacket, maybe.
Yeah, honestly. So you did mention Angela. Yeah. You did mention Angela. And Angela Cullen, who is Lewis's everything, was Lewis's everything.
I don't think there was.
She was a therapist. She was
his mental
media
health coach. Yeah.
Yeah. Best friend. She was with him for a long time at Mercedes. A confidant. She used to walk Roscoe around. Roscoe would follow her around. Basically his right hand in the paddock and on the radio. Not his race engineer, but on the radio, calming him down or what have you. She left halfway through last season.
I think it was the beginning.
Or not even halfway.
No, it was
really
the whole
early.
Season.
Was it the whole season?
I think it was the end of
2023.
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody was kind of shocked that she was leaving. It was weird. She's kind of went and did some stuff. She was
pursuing other things.
Indy and NASCAR. She was in the US. And she was, like you said, captured on camera skiing with Lewis.
Not with Lewis, just skiing.
Or skiing, yes.
She stopped at sign 44 or whatever it was.
And it was all these, again, cryptic clues and what have you. And then she was spotted at Ferrari for his actual testing when we actually saw Lewis in a Ferrari, a red
in
Ferrari.
in red.
She was
She
wearing
was
a
in
Ferrari
red.
shirt,
Yeah, she was.
and it is now confirmed that she is back working with Lewis, which will be nice. So, I mean, nice for her.
Well,
But
you're looking at
yeah.
the nice part of this. I'm looking at
Yeah.
what happened at Mercedes. Was this something where was there conflict between
Mm-hmm.
her or her relationship and Lewis and not necessarily Toto or anything, but other people? Was
Yeah.
there some, I don't know, was there some kind of issue with her being
Yeah.
so close to Lewis?
Yeah. I think when she left, I was kind of like, that's weird because it was, I think you're right. I think it was the end of 2023. It was like, why all of a sudden you're just going to pursue new things? But then it was kind of like, okay, she's gone. Now that she's back, like you said,
That opens up a lot more questions.
it raises those like red flags. You're like, something must have happened. Like that's bizarre. Like, did something really not work out? Or
That now he's fine at another team in another
yeah,
environment. That
yeah,
she's able to come back,
yeah,
ready to come back.
yeah. And it does make you think something might have gone on. That's a little sketch, but I don't know. And we'll never find out.
We'll never know. We'll never know
No,
because
unless
they
she
were
writes a
all
book in 20 years.
I don't think she would ever do that. I don't think
No.
she might write a book. I don't think she would ever
Yeah.
reveal why she left. It would just be the
Yeah.
same PR answer that we've gotten since
Wanted to pursue something else. Yeah. Yeah, for
We got to
sure.
remember, Lewis is all about image, so
Yeah. Right.
no conflict, just work.
Just work. Yeah. So Angela will be back. That's who you will see probably, and I'm assuming she's going to have a similar, if not the same, role. So you'll see her kind of walking behind Lewis, with Lewis, talking to him lots. Short blonde lady. Yeah.
Getting thrown into the river in Montreal and just
Yeah. Right. And then kind of on the women's side of things, we have our first female F1 race engineer, who's going to be Laura Mueller. And she is, again, like the first female race engineer. She'll be at Haas, and she will be Ocon's engineer. And I don't think I realized it was the first engineer until this was actually broken, because we know Ruth Boscombe, we have Bernie Collins, but then I was like, oh, they're strategists.
They were strategists. They were not the ones in the ears of the
yeah. And I mean, there's other women as well, but it just, when I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually in the ear. We're going to hear her voice during races. As long as we hear an Ocon radio, we are going to hear her voice. And I have a feeling, if they're smart, I have a feeling if F1 Media or Liberty Media, F1 TV, Sky Sports, they're going to want to show those radios.
Of course they are.
So I think we will hear it, which is kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah. So I don't know much. I don't know where she came from. I was trying to look it up real quick. No. I did not, but I don't know exactly. Obviously, she was part of the team already. Ayu Komatsu was talking about her character and who she is as a person, but she was obviously in the team, probably in the strategy department, and was promoted. Which means Hulk and Magnussen's engineers are gone.
Yeah,
probably.
Sayonara.
Yeah. Was that what Komatsu said?
Possibly.
Okay.
Sayonara.
You didn't mean it, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, you totally did. And all right. Well, before we get into, I think, the thing that's going to take up the rest of this episode.
Most of this. Yeah. Oh, yes, I did send you something.
Yes, and I haven't opened it.
So the F1 driver logos came out. They had come out earlier, so they'd come out end of the year. like around New Year's, I think it was,
Yeah.
or beginning of January. I think it was end of New Year, about around New Year's.
Yeah.
And all of them. And there were a few that were similar. Some we've already seen. So we had, the three that were similar were Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Liam Lawson, which one was like L7. Lando Norris is an LN, but the L and N kind of make up a 4 in the negative space. There's LS for Stroll, whatever. And then a couple we've seen before. They came up with the updated driver logos. Now a few of them are updated. But and they're okay. Some of them are a little campy. Some of them just like Nico Hulkenberg's just says Nico Hulkenberg in a font.
Nico Hulkenberg, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Others
like,
you've seen before,
this
like
is probably my last 2 years of driving. Like, I don't need to come up with just my name.
I believe Piastri's is updated. I don't remember. Max Verstappen's is the same. Liam Lawson's is updated. Hamilton's is also the same. I think actually Charles Leclerc's is updated. The CL, I don't recognize it, but I could be just missing it. I want you to take a look at Liam Lawson's and tell me what you think right now, live,
so now I can
on air.
live.
Yeah, now you can open up. Now you can open it up.
I guess
it's
you'll
right
have to. You'll have to plop it in as that. What the hell is that?
It is absolutely
what the hell is that?
Childish. How do you sit there and complain about every other driver on track and try to muscle your way and be tough, and you've got this on your helmet like an idiot?
Gosh.
What? Nobody will take you seriously.
No. We've definitely got to put like a little picture.
I really hope like his niece
insert
his
picture
or
here.
Something. Maybe. Yeah. I'm hoping.
What
it is absolutely stupid. It's so stupid.
And if the hell is that?
Like if his niece did draw it, I won't feel bad. But I'll take it back. But ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the only one with any color in it because it's got yellow and pink in it.
Yeah.
Which is
for
fine.
Anybody that's not. Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, it is
go look it up when you get a chance.
Face with a smiley face, essentially with like a
not even really a smiley face, more like
hat.
Smirk, backwards hat with whatever hair he's got. This like back hair, a black backwards big hat. Yeah.
No. No, I don't like any of these. Well, not that I don't like any of these. I like
we've seen the Max, we've seen the Hamilton. I love signs. I love the 55 on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Ocon's is actually kind of cool.
I don't mind Ocon's. Behrman looks like a logo. Behrman just looks like a logo for like a hunting company. I don't like it.
Yeah. But he's got the O and the B is the like cheeks of the bear.
I didn't see that before. Okay, yeah, I didn't catch that. That's clever. I like that one. Okay, I mean, to me, Lando Norris has the best one. The LN with the 4 in the negative space is great.
Yeah, Bortoletto. The wing is a little weird, but maybe it means something.
I'm not gonna. Nico Hulkenberg is just like, to me, it's just like, I don't give a fuck. Just put it on there.
No, he's just like, I don't know. Just
Gazzy looks like it says OG and not PG.
Yeah. Kimmy, Andrea Kimmy, with his. I thought he would go with his, first year. Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much the team has, if they do have any say in it, because I feel like Red Bull would be like, what the hell is this, Liam?
I'm sure that, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess they're like, not their promotion team helps them out with it. They should fire Liam.
As long as it's
Alonso's is like an A with an arrow. I'm like, okay, nothing special. George Russell is just boring, just like George Russell. I don't know. Charles Leclerc, I'm disappointed in. Charles Leclerc looks like he's trying to brand his ice cream, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's just
not a fan.
It's not
a fan. I think Lando's is the best. I think
Lando's to me is the best. Max,
and it was the best last year too.
It was the best last year.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's Lando 1, Sainz 2, and I mean Hamilton's just iconic.
Yeah,
we've seen it. Yeah, I don't know what it means, but
no idea.
No idea. Okay, well, we'll move on
All
from that.
right.
I will try to put that graphic up while it's up there so you can see exactly what we're yelling at.
Yeah.
But onto the biggest news, which is
Yeah.
old news, which is now updated old news, which is just reinvigorating the fire in the whole F1 community,
Yeah.
drivers, fans, everyone. Um, and I really wish that, you know, President FIA Ben would take off the diaper, take the thumb out of his mouth, and grow a pair.
Yeah.
So we have updated like official rules
Official.
for penalties. Sorry, for breaching basically their conduct rules
Yeah.
um, within motorsport. So I have the actual rules here, and I'll go through them.
Hmm.
Okay, and their offenses for first, second, and third offense. Okay, so for anybody who gets bored of legal jargon, just shut up and listen. So whatever article this is, any words, deeds, or writings that have caused moral injury or loss to the FIA, its bodies, its members, or its executive officers, or more generally on the interest of motorsport and on the values defended by the FIA. So basically, any kind of any kind of conduct that is against what they deem as proper conduct. So swearing, gestures, things like that. First
Yeah.
offense is €10,000. Second offense is €20,000 plus 1 month suspension, um, which is suspended.
I didn't
I,
understand that.
I think that's pretty much like Charles got. So Charles had the $10,000 suspended
Mm,
sentence where he had to pay $5,000, and if he had another offense, it was the $5,000.
okay.
And
Gotcha.
then the third offense is €30,000 plus 1 month suspension plus deduction of championship points. So basically, the second offense would be 20,000 euros with the 1 month suspension, which is suspended. So if you get the third offense, you get the suspension. I'm assuming.
Which,
So it's basically like a 1 2 second and a half strike, and then you get your third
yeah.
strike.
Yeah.
So any misconduct is defined under Article 20 in the ISC, blah, 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 blah. Any incitement of violence or hatred. Who are they talking to? Donald Trump. Who is inciting? Who is asking their fans or other bodies to incite violence or hatred?
Yeah.
Is this that if you have a problem with the FIA and you talk about it and your fans go off on it, that now
Yeah.
you are inciting hatred, even though
Yeah.
like it has to be clear rules of what incitement of violence or hatred is. Like
Well,
if
and
somebody
like
takes it upon themselves to defend somebody they love, whether like just because you're upset,
yeah,
am I inciting violence or hatred?
you could
Is
be.
that what
I
they
have a
mean?
feeling that is towards the group that was started by Vettel and the drivers union basically on Instagram where they kind of had that report against the FIA um of having transparency and all of that. I have a feeling that is towards that, which didn't incite hatred. I mean, in a way it did because everybody was
But
pissed off with the FIA,
that's
but
what I mean. Like if they are not directly inciting hatred or violence,
yeah,
but fans take that upon themselves to
yeah,
create, you know, hate speech or whatever, um, in their own comments.
yeah.
Are you liable for that? Are you liable for somebody else's actions? Is that what I
I
don't know if
guess
that's
so.
what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The fines are the same thing. So it's 10,000, 20,000 plus a 1 month suspension, suspended, 30,000 plus 1 month suspension plus deduction of championship points. There's also the general making and display of political, religious, and personal statements or comments, notably in violation of the general principle of neutrality promoted by the FIA under its statutes, unless previously approved in writing by the FIA or for international competition or by relevant ASN for national competitions within their jurisdiction. So there would be a $10,000 fine for that, plus a public apology and repudiation, excuse me, of comments. Fine may be suspended. 20,000 plus for a second offense, 20,000 plus public apology, same thing with well suspended. And for the third offense, 30,000 plus a public apology, repudiation of comments, plus 1 month suspension, plus deduction of championship points. It's a lot of words. Basically, if you say anything against any kind of religious or political, personal, any kind of religious, political or personal statements against a group in violation of their general principle of neutrality. So basically, you have to be neutral. So if I am a Israeli driver and I make pro-Israeli comments because I have a vested interest in what's going on there, I could be fined.
Correct. If the
US evades Saudi Arabia for whatever reason, and Ben makes these comments against the US as a pro Saudi Arabian, does he get the same fine? There are things in this world. There are things in this world that happen where you can have. Now, again, I think this should fall under the hate speech thing. I'm not going to say go off and make obscene comments about another group or another person or whatever. But if you have a personal political view towards something, if you're making a comment to an independent group like a newspaper, a magazine, an online thing, in a personal interview that you're doing, I shouldn't be. I'm allowed as a person. I am not a driver. 365 days a year, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and
anyways,
I mean, a lot of this stuff that has gone on over the years, and this is, of the Vettel era, his later era when he's become, really involved in world issues. Lewis has been instrumental in a lot of things as well. Rights, women's rights, gay rights, Black Lives Matter. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they've all been involved in. If they post that on their own social media, are they in trouble for that? If the journalists that put them in positions when they're in a press conference and say, hey, this happened in the world today, which has happened, that they say, oh, Lewis, we see you're wearing a black band for whatever reason. Does he have to say, like, the journalists know these rules too. So if he responds to a question asked by a journalist, is he now in trouble? Is a journalist penalized?
Well, it happened.
Like, what's going on?
Was it last year or the year before, where they were in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, or Qatar? Anyways, they're in a place where has very strict laws against women and women's rights, and they asked things about, or even just general classism. And they asked them about it. It's like, listen, I come here, I drive. They're putting them in a position where they have to make comments on political views.
And what really annoys me with it is a lot of times they typically only ask Lewis, and it's like, okay, so you're singling out the one person of color.
No, but they're targeting somebody who's going. Yeah, they're going to target somebody who's going to give them an answer that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Right. That if you ask Max, he's going to be like, I'm not here. I'm just here to race, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They'll do the same thing with Vettel, because they know Vettel will give them an answer that's going to make a headline.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Well, and I mean, even all the stuff that happened last year at the beginning of the season with Red Bull and Christian Horner, they didn't need to ask other drivers about, well, do you think what's going on at Red Bull? Why were you asking them? Like, and I mean, they all had the same answer of, we obviously, women should feel comfortable working and whatever. But it's like, so we have to go back to the journalists as well. So what responsibility do the journalists that FIA, Liberty Media, bring in?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's that piece. But
there is one more regulation. There was one more regulation: failure to comply with the instructions of the FIA regarding the appointment and participation of persons during official ceremonies at any competition, counting toward FIA championship. 15,000 euros for first offense, 30,000 plus suspension of access to reserved areas of events for next event in the second offense, and then the third offense 45,000 plus suspension of access of reserved areas of the event for 6 months, plus deduction of championship points. So this is obviously the most expensive of the the fines. Uh,
I think all drivers have to get in that group chat. They get to Australia and they all get on their radios and just swear.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I was thinking, and I thought a lot about this. At first, I was just irate. I was just like, "This is ridiculous. This
Yeah.
is just doubling down on stupid rules and restrictions."
Yeah.
I get now every major sport has, respect for the officials, and we saw a lot of this come out of, them saying, these the stewards are just fucking stupid,
Yeah.
talking about the bias of some stewards.
Mm-hmm.
Now we all have all major sports, sorry, have, a respect level for stewards in their regulations. We can't do that. What answers final, or what answers are there are final. You are subject to fines for criticism of those officials, and that's fine. That I
Yeah.
get. Yes, I agree that the drivers have a responsibility to uphold certain values when they're talking in interviews, like a
Yeah.
certain amount of decorum, conduct.
Yeah.
Sure. When a driver has to, and we saw it toward the end of the year, they completely abolished giving people fines for swearing at the end of the year because everybody fucking swore.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And we only saw fines for Max and we saw a fine for Charles.
Sure.
We didn't see, sorry, we saw community service for Max. We saw a fine for Charles. We saw absolutely everything go out the window once Lewis swore, and then everybody else swore after
Yeah.
that. I don't feel like that needs to be, I mean, when you're in the race and you're showing what needs to be, or what a driver is really feeling in the moment, that can't be
Yeah.
penalized. That can't
No.
be penalized. You're
Yeah.
asking them to do something outside of what any regular person can do, out of,
Yeah.
an exorbitant amount of stress levels.
Yeah.
Even if it gets to a point where, there's an altercation maybe in the paddock, fine, you can deal with that internally, but don't fine them for that. These are people that are at
No.
heightened emotions, heightened what's the word I'm looking for? Adrenaline.
Yeah.
If somebody's deliberate like Max did when he got his fine and he swore deliberately in the press
Yeah.
conference, I get that. Okay. You want to fine him for
Yeah.
that? Sure.
That I think is different.
But you
Because I mean, the
cannot
average person driving 120 kilometers an hour on the 400 here in Ontario, if you're driving on the 400 at 120 kilometers an hour and someone cuts you off, the natural thing to do is be like, holy shit, or whatever you
it,
want to
ha-
say to
it,
that
it
person.
happened to me today.
Right.
Somebody tried to cut us off and all six of us said, "What the fuck is this?" I
Yeah.
said, "What the fuck?" because I was
And
sleeping, but
I hope you weren't driving.
I
Um,
was not the one driving. No.
okay. Um, but then, I mean, that's us driving at 120 kilometers an hour. You're now telling somebody, a man, an adult man, driving 200, 300 kilometers an hour. When you go around that corner and there's a car that's pulled over to the side, you can't swear, just even though you almost hit it and nearly killed yourself. You can't
Yeah.
swear.
No.
What?
I mean, and there's
Like,
there's a lot in this. Like, there's the swearing issue. There's the,
yeah.
the public incitement of violence or hatred. That really gets me. Like, what is, define that for me?
Yeah. What does that
Define
mean?
what constitutes me inciting violence or hatred. Do I have to physically say,
Right.
go hurt this person, go say this,
Yeah.
or is my displeasure now going to have an effect on my fans because
Yeah.
they take it upon themselves to say something? Well, I shouldn't be
Yeah.
responsible for that, but do you feel I
Well,
should be?
and what caused, okay, we can kind of see with all the other ones what maybe caused that rule. What caused that one? I I
I
didn't
can
see
tell
any
you
sort
right
of
now. I can tell you right now. It's been everything that well, I mean, I can't tell you 100% for certain because, but for me, this is everything that FIA president Ben has said uh, over and over again, and he said it actually just before these rules came out. Is that how he's been so persecuted in the British media, how he's been
yeah.
treated unfairly, how he's been called names, all
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
That to me feels, this one feels personal. This one
Yeah.
feels
No,
personal.
this is definitely personal. Definitely, I think it's like if the driver say something in an interview that looks bad on him, then people get mad at him, and then the British media write something against him. Well, that's three people removed from the driver. Like, what do you mean? It just it doesn't make sense, and it's really ridiculous that we are going to police
I,
grown men like this. And
I feel like
yeah,
I feel like the one of the reasons why it's so severe is we got to Brazil, we got to the
hmm
red flags and all that stuff, and everybody thinking that the steward that's there that has volunteered his time, that he is a top level steward because he has ties to McLaren. All of a sudden now his ethics come into question to fans. Um,
yeah,
I feel like this has been this is one of the things come out of that was them say for them to say we can't do this to our officials, but yet he was the one who fired his official.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's the one who took the bait.
Yeah. I think there is I think there's going to be a lot more to this. As far as I know, no driver nor that driver's association that was created by Vettel have responded to the new rules. I don't think they will until probably like preseason. Once everything really starts, cuz like I mean for the most part they're still on vacation. Um but I'm thinking there's going to be an update to this
Well,
to clarify all this.
what's gonna happen when I mean they just did they sign or are they still in advanced talk? Rwanda. Are they going to Rwanda? Was it Rwanda?
It's still in the talks for
But
2026.
it's Rwanda, isn't it? I'm not getting that wrong.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we all
Yes.
know that Rwanda has a very checkered political past.
Yes.
Uh, what happens when they get there? And now, Lewis is asked not about bringing F1 back to Africa, but
Yeah.
racing and supporting a government regime that may have some ties to a sketchy a group, or
Yeah.
supporting a country that has not had the best history of uh, peacefulness and fairness.
Yeah.
What's he supposed to say then? Is he supposed
Yeah.
to say I can't comment because I'll get fined?
Yeah. I guess that's the answer. Well, and again, like I said, I think that's where they are going to need to take responsibility of um the the journalists that they bring in. So, if one journalist comes in and asks one of those questions, sorry, you also have a penalty. Like you can't come to the next race or what have you. You can't be putting it can't solely be on the drivers. And I mean,
So
I don't know.
here's the other thing. Now, this is my biggest sticking point with this. This one really bothered me, and I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it because, like everything else, it's in the fine print.
hmm
So, for second offense and third offense, there's an asterisk. I believe this is what goes toward their suspended sentence, which is something could carry over. Now, if you look at the bottom of these regulations, if this is official, it says with the asterisk with for the asterisk, excuse me, within 2-year period. So if you get that second offense, you have 2 years to not offend again, or you could be subject to that third offense, or that third offense still stands because you got the second strike. 2 years. It's not a 24-hour or a 12-month sentence. It is a 24-month, if I'm reading this correctly,
Yeah.
24-month timeline. That is obscene. It is
Very.
absolutely obscene.
And now that we're kind of talking about this more, if the drivers were to get so frustrated that they're calling for Ben to step down,
Well, he
is
is
that
2025. 2025 is an election year this year, at the end of this year.
but if they
But
were
they don't
if they
vote.
made a if they made a public statement for him to step down, is that considered like a hate speech? I mean, I don't think that they would, but is that something, because like we said, a lot of this seems personal. This is, him.
Well,
I don't know.
does that fall under the
Because
failure to comply with the instructions of the FIA regarding the appointment and participation of persons during official ceremonies?
right.
Is
Like,
it a
are
public incitement
you
of violence if the fans say, yes, this motherfucker should step down?
should step down? And I mean, I wonder what the team principals, like what what share do the team principals have in this? What do
Nothing.
the team owners have in this? Like,
I don't think they have anything. They
you
have nothing
know,
to do with the FIA. This is between the FIA, the president, the government governing body there.
and then the
This has
drivers.
nothing to do with, and they are just a part of it. They pay to it. It's essentially like a union where they have to pay to be in there. They have the
Yeah.
regulations. I don't believe they have any say in the voting of these regulations or the wording of these regulations. I could be wrong, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like they would.
I mean, the drivers
Because
union has gotta.
I don't see all 12 team principals or teams, sorry, 10, um, signing off on every single one of these things. Maybe
No.
one or two. Maybe one or two.
Yeah. I
I think
like you said, I think when we're in a press conference, okay, mind your mouth, like whatever, in a press conference, because your
yeah.
adrenaline's down, whatever.
Even the
But
political, religious, and personal statements, depending on what the scope of that means. Sure,
correct.
I can see
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
nobody wants to be the one singing out and saying, "Listen, no, just."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem very clearly laid. A couple of these don't seem very clearly laid out, and
Yeah.
that worries me. And the fact that it's a
Yeah.
2-year period is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Just
And I
ridiculous.
think
I
the fact that it can impact somebody's championship points is really bad, because people are going to be winning championships because
Somebody
I
else
nearly rear-ended somebody and
made a mistake. Yeah,
I swore
yeah.
like 3 times.
You made a poor judgment call in a moment.
Right. Right. And I mean, okay, you have a scenario where, and I'm just going to use Yuki for example. Yuki's driving along, messes up, swears in the car. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't do that. But if somebody cuts me off or does an illegal thing, cuts me off on the outside, whatever, and I go, holy shit, did you see that? Or holy cow, as George would say.
Yeah.
Like, is one more okay than the other, or where we're not allowed to swear at all? Like,
exactly.
what's
Put
going
this
on?
like, Toto came out in defense of that and said, I have
Yeah.
a son in karting, and he said, where do you hear that? When he said the F word, and he said, I heard it from the drivers. Put a microphone over Toto when he's in that pit and he's
Oh
slamming
God.
his headphones down.
Yeah.
Broadcast that and
Yeah.
allow the team to be subject to fines and the constructor to be subject to penalty points then.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
does it end? Where does it end?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we used to hear the team principal meetings where we got the famous change your fucking car. So again,
It's on Netflix. Can they be
right.
subject to fines if Netflix decides to air this?
Yeah. It's
Kids watch that. If you're talking about that and they're they're role models to children and to all these other fans, everybody has Netflix access to Netflix. So
yeah.
what part does Netflix play in this as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think once the drivers are fully back to work, the drivers union is fully back to work, I think there's going to have to be changes made to this, or clarifications. Maybe not changes, but they've got to clarify
That's
what some of this stuff
I don't
means.
think you're going to get changes because there's no way.
Yeah.
We've seen it. Like,
Yeah.
the FAI president is a bull. He is not bully. I didn't
Yeah.
call him a bully. He's a bull. I don't want to
Yeah.
get fined.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is hard headed. He is clear in his
Yeah.
stance. He's not going to
Yeah.
change.
No.
But where's that line? Like, draw
Yeah.
me that
What?
line. Be specific.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I will say, and we kind of talked about it last season, is consistency. If we're going to fine people for swearing, cool. We have a rule. We know what it is. Well, now we have this pseudo rule. We don't still know what it is.
That's the thing. Last year they got caught. Last year they got caught. Last year they had Max doing it, and Max did it on purpose. Fine. They gave him community service.
Yeah.
Charles did it over the radio. No, sorry, he did it in the press conference as an accident. He just said it, just nonchalantly. Didn't even realize it. Somebody had to tell him he swore.
Yeah.
And he got the fine, which was $5,000 plus a $5,000 suspended sentence.
Yeah.
And then other people, they didn't do it in a press conference. They did it on the radio, but then it just went away. There was no talk about it ever again. Not even anybody saying, "Hey, where are these fines?"
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you mentioned Charles' suspended sentence. That was for 1 year. So he couldn't mess up within the year. So is he now technically
otherwise
in
get
the
the
second
extra
stage of this?
I don't think so, because this is new regulations.
Right. So it like that.
But the first offense now is $10,000 straight. There's $10,000.
Yeah.
Charles got off easy.
Yeah. So
it's dog's so cute.
Yeah, exactly. And he's so cute. Okay. But
well, F1 is back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be updates to this, and I think we're going to hear a lot more about this. And I think all the drivers need to go into Melbourne.
I think that has to be not even that. I think it needs to be testing, day one testing. They need to demand clarification.
Yeah.
Like, we won't drive.
And swear.
Yeah. We won't drive until you clarify what these rules mean.
Yeah.
Like, there can't just be a rule and not like, what does incitement constitute? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
intent and all that bullshit.
And I mean, I assume this is FIA rules. So I don't think they are. They're not F1 specific. I think all drivers across all series have to get together.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, so it'll be.
It's not just 20 against 1. This has to be whoever is subject to these rules. So whether it's I don't even know what all of what FIA covers, but everybody from the series has to be, because I think I even saw like
a lot of them.
So
rally car would be in there.
Yeah, maybe even WEC. But they have to get together. They have to clearly define what this means.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah. It's just going to be bad. But, well, that's us ranting about that.
That's us ranting. Yeah.
And I mean, I think we'll be ranting about that for a while. Once the season starts, we'll see what starts to happen.
I was less yelly than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we'll see once it actually goes into effect.
Yeah.
You'll be very yelly. All right, so I think that's us for our first episode back.
That's it.
We will be back again. We've got predictions. We've got.
I guess we won't do fresh set and dirty air, because your fresh set will be Lewis and latex. But
yeah, and that would be my dirty air as well. Yeah. Anyways,
if you can smell it in the air, it's not good.
Oh God. So as always, you can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Twitter,
at
Instagram.
Fresh Set Podcast, Instagram.
At Fresh Set Podcast on all of them.
Been a while.
And yeah, it has been a while. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, follow, share. I said all that already. And we will see you guys.
Rate, star, whatever they give, thumbs up.
Yeah, whatever. There's so many things. But yeah, we will see you guys again next time.
Next week?
Yeah.
It will be next week.
Yeah, it will be
we won't record next week, but it'll be next week.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll see you guys.
Grab a fresh set.
Bye.